Overcoming fear is one of the most freeing experiences. Fear can sneak into different areas of life and make us feel stuck, uncertain, or even powerless. We can never eliminate fear. It's 100% impossible to do. But there are ways to cope and minimize what you're feeling. Here are 5 ways to start overcoming fear in a real, practical way. First, let's start by acknowledging your fear. It's easy to push fear aside, but recognizing it is the first step to getting past it. Many of us are conditioned to push it aside, deny it, or even pretend it doesn't exist. But ignoring fear doesn't make it go away. It tends to make it worse. Fear thrives in the dark, gaining power when we avoid it. The first and most important step in overcoming fear is to look it in the eye and acknowledge it. This means not running from it and pausing when you feel fear creeping in. Take a moment to notice what's happening inside of you. Are your hands sweating? Is your heart racing? Is your mind jumping to the worst possible outcome? It's important to pay attention to the physical sensations and thoughts that come with fear. When you feel it creeping in, pause and take a deep breath and say, "Yes, I feel scared." Once you call it out, it becomes less of a mystery and you bring it into the light, which makes it less overwhelming. For example, when you realize that your social anxiety is tied to a fear of rejection, it starts to make more sense when you feel anxious in certain settings but not others. It's like uncovering the root of a pattern. You begin to notice that in interactions where approval or acceptance feels uncertain, the anxiety flares up. But in other moments, maybe around close friends or family, where you feel secure, the anxiety doesn't seem to have the same hold on you. That clarity gives you a better sense of why certain situations trigger those feelings and how to approach them differently. Second, let's break it down. Fear often feels overwhelming because it comes at us all at once, like a massive wall blocking our path. When we look at it as a whole, it can feel too big to overcome, leading to paralysis or avoidance. This is where breaking it down becomes essential. Instead of letting fear take over in its entirety, break it into smaller, manageable pieces allows you to handle it one step at a time. Start by identifying the big fear that's in front of you. It could be something like speaking in front of a crowd, making a career change, or ending a toxic relationship. Instead of focusing on the entire situation, zoom in on one specific aspect you can address. For instance, if public speaking is your fear, ask yourself, what part of this makes me nervous? It could be the idea of forgetting what you want to say or the fear of being judged by the audience. Isolate that part, then think about a tiny action to address it. This approach takes an intimidating task and breaks it into manageable bite-sized pieces. You don't need to conquer the fear immediately. Focus on the next step. If you're afraid of making a career change, the first step might be researching a new field or seeking advice from someone in the industry. You don't have to leap all at once. Third is challenging your thoughts. Fear often comes from the stories we tell ourselves. Our minds have a habit of imagining the worst possible outcomes, blowing situations out of proportion, and convincing us that disaster lurks around every corner. This is why challenging our thoughts is an essential step in overcoming fear. Start by paying attention to the thoughts that pop up when you feel afraid. They might sound like, "I'll fail for sure," or "everyone will judge me," or "I'm not capable of doing this." These thoughts can feel automatic and convincing, but they're often exaggerated or completely untrue. The key is to catch these thoughts in the act and question them instead of accepting them as fact. Ask yourself, is this thought true? And what evidence do I have that supports this? More often than not, our fear-based thoughts aren't grounded in reality. Maybe you're afraid you'll fail at a new project, but when you look at the facts, you realize that you've succeeded in similar situations. You might think that people will criticize you, but most people are too focused on their own lives to be overly concerned with what you're doing. By examining your thoughts, you begin to see that you're not as accurate as they feel in the moment. Another way to challenge your thoughts is by flipping them around. Instead of assuming the worst, ask yourself, what's the best thing that could happen? Shifting your focus from negative possibilities to positive ones can help reduce the hold fear has on you. For example, if you're afraid of starting a new business because you think it might fail, challenge that thought with, what if it succeeds and opens up new opportunities? This shift can motivate you to take action rather than staying stuck in fear. It's also helpful to remind yourself that thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind tells you something doesn't mean it's true. Our brains are wired to be cautious and protective, especially in uncertain situations. But being cautious doesn't mean you have to be ruled by those thoughts. When you challenge them, you take back control. Next is focusing on the present. Fear often drags us out of the present moment and into the future or past. It sneaks in, makes us worry about what might happen or fixate on events over which we have no control over. When we get lost in these thoughts, fear grows and feels overwhelming. The antidote? Learning to focus on the present moment. Focusing on the present is about bringing your attention back to what's happening right now, instead of spiraling into what-if scenarios. For example, before a big presentation, you might start imagining that you'll mess up, everyone will laugh at you, or you'll forget everything. These future possibilities haven't happened yet. They only exist in your mind, but your body responds as if they're real, triggering anxiety, stress, and fear. One of the simplest ways to bring yourself back to the present is by grounding yourself in the here and now. Take a deep breath, feel the air moving in and out of your body. Notice the physical sensations around you, the feeling of your feet on the ground, the sound of ambient noise, the texture of the objects near you. These are things that are happening in this exact moment. Grounding yourself in the physical environment helps anchor your mind and body in the present. Next is practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is another powerful tool for staying in the present. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When fear starts to take over, it's easy to get swept up in it. But with mindfulness, you learn to observe your fear without letting it control you. A couple of ways of practicing mindfulness are focusing on your breath. The breath is one of the simplest yet most effective tools in mindfulness. When fear takes over, our breath often becomes shallow and rapid, which can intensify feelings of anxiety. You can calm your body and mind by consciously slowing down and focusing on deep, steady breathing. One helpful technique is to count your breaths. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 4. This simple practice keeps your attention focused on the present and helps regulate your nervous system, reducing the physical symptoms of fear. Next is practicing gratitude. An effective way to incorporate mindfulness into your life is through gratitude. When fear starts to dominate, it's easy to focus on what could go wrong or what you lack. Gratitude shifts your attention to what's going right and what you've already have. Take a moment each day to reflect on a few things you're grateful for: a small success, support a friend, or even a sunny day. Focusing on gratitude brings you back to the present and counters the negativity that fear often brings. Next is taking action despite fear. One of the most important steps in overcoming fear is learning to take action even when you're afraid. Fear keeps us stuck, paralyzes us with doubt, and convinces us to stay in our comfort zones. But the truth is that growth and progress often happen when we take action, despite fear, not in the absence of it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to move forward, even when fear is present. Fear tends to be strongest when we do nothing. The longer we wait or avoid facing what scares us, the bigger and more overwhelming the fear becomes. It grows in our minds, turning small worries into huge obstacles. By taking even the smallest action, you start to break that cycle. You prove to yourself that fear doesn't have the final say. Taking action doesn't mean you have to tackle the whole problem at once. It's about making one small move that shifts you forward, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem. That first step is crucial because it creates momentum. Fear loses some of its power when you take steps towards it rather than away from it. In the end, overcoming fear is less about eliminating it and more about learning how to move forward in its presence. Fear may never entirely disappear, but you can gradually reduce its power by acknowledging it, breaking it down, challenging your thoughts, and taking action despite it. Each step forward builds your confidence and resilience, proving that fear doesn't control you, you control how you respond to it. As you continue to practice these strategies, you'll find that fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a signal that you're stepping into growth and new possibilities. The key is to keep moving, no matter how small the steps, and trust that every action brings you closer to the life you truly want. Stay positive, friends.